needing to know where it is, and I'm still not sure
Um,
what you said.
It's 10 minutes from here to Dripping Springs
On
on
12.
12, and there's about 500 feet inside of Country Lane.
Okay.
That's the site we're analyzing.
Okay, thank
We're
you
in the
very
process
much.
of feasibility now.
So any other questions? Any other questions of us, the board? From you, sir?
No?
Anybody else have any questions in the audience? Yes, ma'am.
I wondered how many acres were involved in.
25 acres, it looks like.
25 acres, and how many units on 25 acres?
A condominium complex can have 3 1/3 units per acre.
But we're not gonna go there that far. So we're analyzing the maximum.
No,
So we're not gonna go that limit.
And there's no other water out there, there's no one service, Dripping Springs that come that far?
Unfortunately not.
Yeah, you'd rather that, that's, I can see that.
But it doesn't lie within does it lie within Dripping Springs CCN?
I doubt it.
No, Dripping Springs Water, they stop at Howard Ranch there, at 150 and 12.
Yeah.
it's a terrific concept. I really want to get with you.
Okay. Thank you.
I mean, I would say, I know you're wanting, I don't think we can, it's for discussion only, but I'd sure entertain looking at it if there's water availability there.
Yes.
If there's water there, I sure don't see why you couldn't do it, but I don't know what the rest of this board would do. I know myself personally, a nice, affordable place would be great for people.
Actually, putting in rainwater systems is more expensive than using the wells. And I've really done a lot of research on it. So I'll be glad to share it.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. All right. Item 8. I'll go to item 3.
Thanks.
Item 3, Kelly's Country Cabins, Jim Kelly. Shared well agreement.
I wanted to bring your attention to this map that I presented you guys,
Which is,
Kelly's Country
got it?
map. This is a very small neighborhood, and a few weeks ago, the treasurer of the neighborhood, Wayne Brennigan, I believe, is he here today?
Is anybody here from Kelly's Country Cabins?
He contacted me and wanted an open records request of the original drilling permits because their shared well agreements amongst themselves had expired. And that piqued my interest because I don't know anything about shared well agreements, and I don't approve shared well agreements. I asked him for the names of the folks in the neighborhood who were sharing wells, and he provided them very graciously, which was great for me, as I told him that there was no such thing as a shared well agreement, but he'd already given me the information. If you look at the map, we have some light blue spots, and they represent wells that he paid for. Actually, he only paid for 2, or the people in this neighborhood paid for 2. And what they did is they plumbed it to neighbors, 2 sharing, 3 sharing, up to 4 sharing 1 well, calling it a shared well agreement. Now, I'm speaking because I don't know, but I have to assume that they're sharing the expense to drill a well, which I can understand, but we have no knowledge of how much water is being pumped. Is each house pumping 25,000 gallons? I doubt it, but they're able to. I think this is going to go towards writing our rules again. I was hoping that a representative from Kelly's Country was going to be here tonight because it was a concern to them, and I had mentioned that a possible outcome could be a connection fee. Rather than fining them or doing all this craziness that we could do, treat it as a public water connection. That was my intent, and hope I was wanting some discussion with the board and from a member of that community.
Have you looked in the old files before you were here? Rumor had it, previous boards had approved this.
Yeah, there was some information to that extent.
So previously, the board said it was okay to do shared wells.
I believe so.
Your stance now is you don't like them.
I don't think it's best for the community to not know how much water is being pumped.
Oh, well, I agree. But if they've already were approved to put them in,
They want to put new connections in.
okay.
These
We're trying to do
these
this.
exist, and they want to.
But previous boards thought it was okay to do shared well agreements, and they were approved.
I can't say 100% that there was some talk about it.
Oh, but what does Htgcd say?
There's not enough connections to call it a public water.
There's shared wells all over here.
So how many more connections do they want to make to?
Well, right now, one, but it got my attention, and I wanted to bring it to the board's attention.
In our rules, how do we address them in our rules?
We don't have any rules for shared well agreements.
None?
None.
Maybe when we're doing the rules, we should maybe address that? Okay, so that would be important. Something, this could happen. Anybody else in this audience have any shared wells or know anything about shared wells?
In your enabling legislation, it specifically says that you cannot.
That's right.
You cannot do that unless you get permit. You can permit it, so it's not an exempt well. So you can go to the board, as you said, the last board, I don't know what they did, but it is not exempt.
Right.
It's not exempt.
Were they in the
Mr.
system at all?
We had 2 of them in the system, 2 of the 4 wells.
I mean, Rick, you showed 1, 2, 3, there's 4 wells, or you said 2, but it shows, you showed 4, right?
Right, they paid $300 for this one and $300 for that one.
They had 2.
Those just kind of appeared.
I mean, it just, to me, it seems like they got 12 lots, and only 4 wells, that seems better than having 12 wells. I mean, I'm just common sense, but I know, I understand your concern, I mean, we can't do anything with that anyway, just for discussion.
They want one more?
One more connection, or one more well?
Connection.
A well or a connection?
I'm not sure.
Not sure.
I think they froze up when I started talking to them.
I wonder why.
Well, I think it would be.
Oh, wait 1 second. There's about 3 people I want to talk, and you want to talk. You go ahead. You get to win. You go ahead.
Well, I think it's definitely something that we should look at, because in the future, if there's other people out there. Plus, this just brings up the point that there's 2 wells out there that we don't know about.
Well, they could have been before the district
Right.
was created, therefore they're not registered. It doesn't mean that's illegal or anything. We just all know about thousands of wells that are out there.
Yeah. All right, we have another question.
Is there a distinction between who owns the well versus who it's shared among? Are they equal owners in the well?
Well, according to their paperwork, there's a well owner.
So there's a well owner that's different from,
There's no, yeah, I don't recognize shared wells, but the information I have is per well.
right, but you can have multiple owners of a well.
You could, but I didn't see that.
Okay.
Wouldn't it be on whoever's property is on?
That's what I was gonna say, property that is owned is probably.
Who gets to own the well? That's the winner?
Yeah.
Anybody else want to ask a question on this hot topic?
Mr. Chairman, I remember one time when the board discussed a shared well. The only time I remember this being discussed was where a developer wanted to put in rainwater systems for everybody. And they wanted one well for 5 or 6 homes just as a backup. And the board thought that was a good idea. Now, the project, as far as I know, never did develop.
I've heard on this one, bits and pieces, in 2004 or 5, that board approved it, and there's minutes somewhere, but we haven't found those yet. So we're looking to see. So
Al Brown mentioned the question of what's an exempt well is very clear in the legislation. Serves a single family domestic situation or agricultural. But so it would fall under the permitting.
any other questions? Al?
I talked to Mr. Kelly when he first came here, he first applied for the well. And his concept, and you'll notice it's called cottages or cabins. His concept was that he was going to build a series of cabins and rent them out to friends for weekends. That's how it started. So I know about the first well. I do not know about any addition.
Ms. Rogers, do you want to speak?
I had a question, but he just answered it. Thank you.
Anybody else? All right, well, it's discussion only. Maybe you'll get hold of them. If they're serious about it, they may want to come up and help us understand what they're doing. Discussion only, item 4, update on educational video.
That's me.
Go, go, go.
Could you speak into the microphone? You speak so softly.
Oh. Ed, would you like to send this? Oh, okay. We had asked, is that on? Can you hear me? Okay, we had asked for $7,500 to make a video film and $500 expenses to make this film for during the summer. And we were told that the board really probably would need the money for the lawsuit, but anyway, we got started on it. An additional amount is needed also because we contacted Cow Creek Conservation District for the right to reproduce parts of the video for our district, and they want to charge us $1,000. They said they had spent $17,000, plus they had a lot of donations of time and I guess equipment and so forth to make their video, and this $1,000 is going to go back into their education fund. We also need an additional $500 to reproduce the copies and purchase sleeves for the video. Actually, Ed pointed out we could probably do with a little less than that if we reproduce, what, 50 copies and have sleeves for them. During the month of June, Mr. Zapansi completed the narrative for the first section of the video. He accompanied the staff to film a well measurement, and we had a couple of meetings, one on the 14th with staff and members where we discussed, making the video, and then another one on the 15th with staff, with members of the education committee, and that was the time that we really decided we must have more money, because then at that meeting we discovered that Cow Creek wanted $1,000 for the use of part of their film. The total amount for making the film would be $9,500, which is a real deal. I mean, considering that Cow Creek spent $17,000 doing this. We are on schedule, and the June completion will be submitted by June 30th. And this is submitted by myself and Ed Polk, who is working on the education committee with me. Any questions?
Anybody have any questions? You're not asking for any money right now because it's just discussion only, so we can't do that.
I'll ask for any next.
I'm still, my same problem is I'm supportive of defending the lawsuit. Spending any more money on the educational video, I probably won't be supporting until we figure out what our lawsuits are going to cost us.
Even though we did have a budget item for...
Oh, I didn't. Myself personally, our budget just got completely wrecked when you look at what has happened. So that's just, but that, we're not gonna have any action, we're just discussing it only.